Hey everyone, AJ here, and welcome back to the Battle of the Builders Marathon. I'll be here every night this week checking out each episode of Battle of the Builders leading up to the premiere on the History Channel this Sunday, February 7th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this year we added a Young Guns category to give young builders a chance to go head to head with the top builders in the business. Let's see how that turns out. Enjoy the show, and I'll see you guys at the end. Here we are at SEMA Battle of the Builders, right here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
This is the premier aftermarket trade show in the world, and today we're taking a look at some of the country's most talented automotive craftsmen, going head-to-head to find out who's the best.
This is the 5th annual SEMA Battle of the Builders, and the battle is about to begin. Hello everyone and welcome. I'm AJ, and with me is professional racer, stunt driver, and TV host, the one and only Tanner Faust.
Thank you, AJ. This is where legends are born, right here at one of the most prestigious automotive competitions in the world.
The SEMA show is a trade-only event. The industry comes to see the newest innovations, and having a vehicle on display is an honor in and of itself.
Every year, we've seen this competition grow. More entries, more excitement, and more recognition. And last year's event was the best yet. Battle of the Builders is the peak for anyone involved in the automotive industry. It can turn backyard builders into icons. And now, in its 5th year, it's recognized as one of the premier events on the industry circuit.
Whenever we get ready to go to SEMA, the first thing that comes to mind is Battle of the Builders.
SEMA is known for highlighting all the latest innovation and cutting-edge trends in the automotive world. In short, this event is a spotlight on the best the industry has to offer.
SEMA is just like an automotive overload. You've got all the best manufacturers, all the best car builders. You can walk for days and not see it all.
It is unlike anything you'll ever go to.
Battle of the Builders is the main event here at SEMA, but this year we've made a few changes, making the competition more challenging and tougher than ever.
Our 3 veteran Battle of the Builders judges will narrow down the competition to just 10 from each category. But this year, the Young Guns category is added alongside hot rods, trucks and off-road, and sport compacts.
Then our judges will select their top 3 finalists from each category, leaving us with the final 12 or decorated dozen. And the builders will select the winner from each category. And these 4 will go head-to-head to find our Battle of the Builders champion.
This is a more diverse and competitive Battle of the Builders. With hundreds of entries, our judges have a lot on their plates. Before SEMA officially opened its doors, our judges David Freiberger, RJ DeVera, and Fred Williams looked at a number of vehicles and scoured through a mountain of submission forms to pick their top 10 from each category.
The thing I'm seeing is that there's a lot of cars being built for Battle of the Builders. There's a bunch of stuff that is in progress, not cars that have already been at, Autorama and those other big shows.
Quite a bit for my category, too. I guess we're making some waves. I'm super excited for the show. It feels like SEMA's building even more buildings and more tents, which means more cars for us to look at, which makes our jobs hard, but also makes it a lot more fun. Kind of opens our eyes and expands our horizons.
This is gonna be a nightmare for me. I've got so many killer cars from top guys. I have more entrants than ever, more variety than ever, and there's some big names that aren't here, which means I'm gonna be looking at some fresh cars from some fresh builders.
Wow, we've got like a big crew.
Hey!
Storming the party.
I guess so.
Nice to meet you.
Our Young Gun judges have already spent some time on the SEMA floor to select their top 10 picks from builders 27 and younger. Now, they just need to hand off their selections to our veteran judges.
Top 10.
So this is the official, huh?
And they can spend the rest of the week enjoying the show.
Interesting.
Not to say the Young Gun judges didn't have their work cut out for them, as the younger generation of builders are clamoring to get their work into the competition. Like young metalsmith Jacob Griffin and his completely hand-built 1927 Ford Roadster.
I'm only 24 right now, and I'm just chasing the dream.
My creation, it's a 1927 Roadster is what I call it, but it's basically a cut down 1950 to 51 Ford shoebox tied in with a 27 T-bucket. I'm most proud of this car because it is so abnormally different. Battle of the Builders, to me, it's up there with the big boys, but just a small town boy can still enter and try to get himself into it. It would mean a lot to me to be making top 40 at SEMA. You know, are you kidding me? To go against all these big time boys and just, you know, to put my foot in the door and say, hey, I'm here and you better watch out.
From small town passion to import fever, Ernie Monansala has pulled out all the stops with his 2018 Nissan Gt-R.
The number one thing on here is the heart of the car. That is a 91 mil twin turbo Borg-Warner powered IndyCar motor. I've never missed the SEMA. And then when SEMA came up with Battle of the Builders, I was like, oh yeah, that's it. I think the evolution's come forward because they're making 4 categories this year, and now everyone has a true shot at this. This structure really gives them the opportunity to grow, and I think that's what's really interesting about Battle of the Builders. It's going to constantly evolve as much as the cars are. It's a world stage. This is the mecca of automotive. You get to share your culture, and the one thing we all speak is 4 wheels and a tailpipe.
I've gone as far as I can go on paper. We gotta walk around. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Somehow, our judges managed to narrow their choices down to just 40 incredible rides.
Now's the hard part. Now's the hard part.
For a complete list of the top 40 contenders, please visit the SEMA website at SEMAignited.com.
When we come back, our intrepid judges will take their expertise down to the SEMA floor.
Picking the top 3 from each category.
The competition continues when SEMA Battle of the Builders returns. Welcome back to Las Vegas and the 5th annual SEMA Battle of the Builders.
Right now, our judges are on the SEMA floor taking a closer look at the top 40 finalists.
So this is a Skyline Gt-R from Japan.
Looks like a lowrider paint job on it.
Yeah, this guy is really well known for his paint engraving work and just all the paint work that he does. Yeah.
That's pretty nice work.
So apparently he lays on like layers of paint, then he starts to engrave and dimple. This one has a lot of pinstriping work, and it takes some crazy man hours to do that. From the paint perspective, it's like top notch.
This is a 1970 Dodge Charger, and the thing you cannot avoid knowing about this car is that the whole body is carbon fiber. If you think of the difficulty of getting the weave to line up from the fender to the cowl to the door, this whole thing to me is like...
That's insane.
Speedcore is the name of the company. They're in Wisconsin. And the Hellcat motor is really popular right now.
Right, they just came out with a Hell Crate motor, which they're kind of the LS motor of the Mopar world. It's an all aftermarket body, but you still recognize it. You want to slide across the hood, Dukes of Hazzard style. This thing's amazing, just mind-blowing. This is a very unusual but very cool car to build. This thing is a 1956 Pontiac Convertible. While this car isn't as flashy and wild as some of the other things that we've looked at, it's the minor details that makes this thing so great. Check the top. It's been chopped right here. It makes all the difference.
I would drive this.
Approved. Next.
So tell me about this building.
It's a 74 Plymouth Duster, and it is kind of pro touring looking, but it's very drag race influenced. It belonged to some lady who was drag racing it since it was new.
Check this out.
Whoa!
The name is like the old dealer tag.
That is genius. I've never seen somebody make a custom one before.
If it could talk, it'd have a million stories, from going to the local drag strip. She's won a couple super stock Wallies, drag racing it, and then putting it back and driving back to work the next morning with it. You know, change her slicks out on the back. Katrina hits, floods everything, and got stolen once, and then back to us to finally build for her to get it back up and going. So it's definitely got a roller coaster history, and we're gonna try to end it on top. We want to change a lot, but not still take away from what the factory did back in the day. After getting the Roaster Shop chassis stuffed in here, it was time to stuff this Hemi in here. SEMA Battle of the Builders, the best of the best is there, and to be able to hit that stage and be part of that, that's definitely one of our goals in this whole industry of the shop.
It's overwhelming to be inside SEMA, constantly bombarded by amazing cars and tech everywhere you turn.
But let's not forget the hundreds of cars outside the convention center.
It's a first-gen RX-7, which is what makes it so cool.
And it still has the rotary.
And it still has the rotary.
It looks like this might have been a carbureted, so this would be a 12A.
Definitely, this one's been turbocharged.
Yeah.
It was a carbureted one in that era, for sure.
Yep.
From classic import styling to the extreme side of hot rodding.
I've never seen this before.
A fifth wheel rat rod.
So what's the entry? Is it the truck or is it the rat
I think
rod
it's the whole
hauler?
thing.
The
for
whole
Young
package?
Guns. Yeah. Well, this is also a Young Guns, too. He definitely put a lot of work into it.
The Wild Torquey.
This is a
Wow,
Young Gun
I
build?
know. At first impression, it wouldn't seem so, right?
Yeah. Very nicely done. Super clean.
At first glance, all I'm looking at is tucked-in bumpers, perfected gaps, just stunning level of detail.
Let's keep walking.
Wow. Land Cruiser.
There it is.
I would expect this to be an FJ40. What's a 43?
It's a little bit longer. So you see the window behind, side window?
Oh, yeah. You can see where this was added. It's like an OE brand new car.
It's still a 6-cylinder. It's just not.
But it's got a Magnuson on it.
Oh, yeah. And then a coil link front suspension.
RJ's like,
Whatever.
whatever.
Yeah, is that gonna help me somewhere?
It's a Toyota.
It is
You should
cool.
love it.
I like it.
And back inside, Sporty is taking some pretty unusual forms.
So this thing actually falls into my class.
Sport compact. I
But it
love
looks
this
like
car.
it.
It has an all-aluminum lightweight V8, just radical in the back seat of a V-dub.
It's
So,
the Berlin Buick.
the whole thing is a Buick theme because it's a Buick V8. It's got the portholes like Buicks did. It's got the Buick dash and wheel. It's radical.
It's actually really difficult for me because it's sport compact, but really the whole theme is hot rod.
Ah, it's so bitchin'. I
It's
have
a
to
cool
look.
car.
Makes my life
Yeah.
difficult.
So this is an example where it almost like the hot rod guys are
Yep.
building trucks to try and get in the truck category.
Oh, I do like the finish on the metalwork on
On the
this thing,
metal.
even down to the rearview mirror and everything. The lowered truck guys have done the thing where you cut the bed out and, you
Raise it
know,
up.
step the whole frame and everything. But I'm glad to see that they're getting into stylish ways of covering it up while still having detail in the suspension.
5 years ago when we started Battle of the Builders, I never even would have looked at this truck because I was an off-road guy. After walking the show so many years with Freiberger and RJ, I've learned to really appreciate the other genres of truck and car building, and so this thing really spoke to me.
Twin turbo LS motor, kind of a
Really?
standard these days, but radical.
Kind of like the hot trend right now.
It is weird that 1,000 horsepower is the new 500.
Yeah.
And if it's power you're looking for, then look no further than this 1,250 horsepower Bel Air.
This car is meant to be driven. It's pump gas, it's a hydraulic cam, it's got all the amenities, it's got air conditioning, you name it, but we're gonna beat the hell out of it. Like, before this thing's at SEMA, I'm a little worried that we might jack it up, you know, because it's gonna be at a road race course, it's gonna be drag racing, it's gonna be doing all of these things before we're at SEMA.
Even with this much power, Tom wanted to keep the look on the right side of traditional.
You're gonna look at this car in 20 years and you're not gonna think it's dated. It's still gonna be a badass 55. SEMA Battle of the Builders, it's all the guys that you look up to that are actually competing in this thing. So it's definitely an honor just to be a part of it, you know?
This is Birdie Designs, right?
Yeah, so this is like a collaboration with Ford and Hot Wheels. And it looks like a standard Ford from the side, but pretty much from the cab back is all custom chassis.
Hellion twin turbo system. The suspension's 100% hand fabricated.
And the crazy thing is this thing will go out in the desert and just get sandblasted.
And as we've seen this year, it's the younger generation stepping up in a big way.
The Young Guns category is awesome because it's put together for young guys like me to get recognized. I really want the judges to crawl underneath the truck, open it, look at it, and actually see the amount of work we went through. Because we basically built a race truck that is luxury. It's a full off-road race truck pre-runner, so besides the fancy looks and everything, it has to perform. All the builders going to SEMA try and get in the Battle of the Builders, and that's what's so crazy about it now, is because now the competition is so high. I mean, it's tough. We spend 15, 18-hour days in this shop going for a goal, and the goal is to win at Battle of the Builders.
This has wow factor.
All out racing, right?
It's 100% carbon like the Charger. This is so not my style, but I think it's trick. And I like it because it means it. There's
Right.
nothing hesitant about the way they
No,
put this thing
nothing at all.
together. Okay, round them up, head them out.
Keep going.
This is most definitely the first Scout in Battle of the Builders.
How much Scout is left, though?
That's a good point. There are people now that are making a business of putting Scouts on Jeep chassis, because there's tons of suspension for Jeep chassis.
Yeah.
I think ending on a Scout is a good way to end.
Are we done?
I think so.
Wow. So it's just a 30-mile walk back to base camp.
Pretty much.
And then sit and go through our votes, right?
Oh, man, that's the hard part.
So we're gonna be up the rest of the night.
Right.
Coming up, we announce the official decorated dozen.
When SEMA Battle of the Builders returns.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I'm Ira Gabriel from SEMA. I've got Mike Robledo and Joe Ciberganio from the Battle of the Builders team, and this was a year we saw a lot of activity with young builders. Mike, what made it so special?
This is the year that Young Guns becomes its own category, and the top 12 is now 3 from each division. And now we start to see builders building specifically to compete in this competition. And there's some standouts. Kilcary's Pontiac Star Chief, Eddie Pettis with the Tanker, Kyle Kuhnhausen enters the scene as the Young Gun, and Jeremiah Prophet makes his first introduction, and he's going to be a future judge.
In 2018, I remember Kevin Ostie joined me as the co-host for the SEMA cruise, and it was great for me because I got to relax a little bit and finally enjoy the cruise. And as I sat there and I watched the cars roll through, I got to see some of the young gun guys that I had spent that summer with, and it was nice. It was nice to see those guys enjoy all that limelight and all the spotlight with their friends around them, taking it all in. It was very, very inspiring.
Shout out to Ostie. Hey, for more information on the SEMA Battle of the Builders, check out SEMA.com. And don't miss the premiere of the SEMA 2020 Battle of the Builders airing on History Channel. You can check your local listings for more information. Hey, we got a lot of competition left and a lot ahead of us. Let's get you back.
Welcome back to the 5th annual SEMA Battle of the Builders.
Our judges managed to narrow the competition from 40 incredible rides to 12 finalists, the top 3 from each of our 4 categories.
That's right, we've got the official decorated dozen. So guys, there was no shortage of amazing rides. What was the selection process like?
Well, it was lots and lots of discussion. We take it really seriously, and I think we came out with a pretty good list.
The judging criteria has changed a bit this year. How's that affected your process?
Well, it's been fantastic for Sport Compact and also for Truck. The big deal is that each individual category now gets their own trophy, which actually I think is great.
In the past, it was a lot of hot rods and maybe 1 truck and 1 sport compact. This year, there's 3 trucks, 3 sport compacts, 3 hot rods, and 3 of the Young Guns.
Which made his life really, really difficult.
I had the biggest field of worthy hot rods I've ever had, and I had to narrow it down to 3 instead of 10. Just 3 cars out of 120 entrants. I love it because I'm thrilled to be involved with it and talk to all the builders and see all these great cars and everything, but I feel like the pressure's on.
It feels like there's definitely people building cars just for this event instead of building it for another show and then bringing it here. A lot of fusion and hybrid builds. A lot of hot rod trends migrating to trucks, to imports and whatnot. So.
And the best truck field we've ever seen.
Definitely. Finally, the truck guys are going to have a little bit more of a finger hold to get into the top 10 of this. They were kind of in an uphill fight as it is, so now they'll actually be able to win and be chosen as the official truck of Battle of the Builders.
And then you have the Young Guns as an actual category. Are there some threats for the overall victory?
Which was very cool.
Yeah, I think there's definitely threats in the Young Guns category.
What I think is going to be very interesting is now that we have the Young Guns voting for the final winners in each category, they're going to have a different perspective than the pros that have been doing it forever. And that could really, like, put an interesting twist on the finals.
It gives the younger guys, you know, a chance. It gives you that in with the Battle of the Builders and to be around the guys that are the best in the industry. You can't go anywhere else and get an opportunity in 3 days like that. What I've got is a 68 Nova. I don't know that there's gonna be anything like this in the Young Guns or the regular SEMA Battle of the Builders. Being a race car, a street rod, and a street car at the same time, I think that really puts it in a category of its own. I think it's going to be a twist for all of them, so I hope that really sets us apart on it. If you can get into SEMA Battle of the Builders, I mean, it's it. You would automatically just feel like you made it in the car building industry.
I would wager that we've walked more miles and seen more cars than anyone else at the SEMA show. But it all comes down to this right here. AJ, it's on you.
And now, your jobs are officially done.
Woohoo!
Thank you guys. Get some rest.
Yep.
Job well done.
We're out. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
See you next year.
So when we come back, we'll announce the official top 12.
SEMA Battle of the Builders. We'll be right back.
This is the 5th annual SEMA Battle of the Builders, and we're getting closer and closer to awarding our top contenders from each category.
It's never an easy job for the judges, but they've done it, and we now have our official top 12 or decorated dozen.
And the top 12 in no particular order are, first up from Louisville, Colorado, Zach Lagerin and his radical 1988 BMW M3.
You know, if you asked me 6 months ago while we were in the middle of this, if I'd be standing right here, I would have said there's no way. But it feels pretty good to have this opportunity to maybe inspire some other young builders and some other young enthusiasts.
Next, from Humphrey, Nebraska, Dale Besh and his classy yet menacing 36 Ford Roadster.
What I want everybody to do is see the stance of the car. It has a gangster look to it. It makes a lot of noise. It's an old school 392 Hemi. It sounds good. It looks cool. Exalta is real excited to have it in their booth. They're getting a good crowd because of it.
Then we've got Jeremiah Prophet from Austin, Colorado, and his decked out 1993 Toyota 79 Series.
On this truck, I am most proud of the fact that it's actually here. And when I say here, I mean in existence. This vehicle is so difficult to get here in the United States, and this is literally built from the ground up. Best thing about the Battle of the Builders and SEMA is its diversity. There are cars here from every different kind of builder.
Next on the list, from Mundelein, Illinois, returning competitors Phil and Jeremy Gerber with their bitchin' 1970 Camaro.
69 Camaro is a beautiful, iconic car. 70's kind of a weird transitional deal, and it's got a very Italian sports car kind of look, so I don't feel bad chopping it all up and making something wild and exotic out of it.
I'm excited to get up on the stage. It's about a year and a half worth of work, so excited to show all the other builders what we did, how we did it, why we did it, and get their reactions.
Next, from Middleton, Delaware, Muzzy Yousefi's insane right-hand drive 2004 Nissan 350Z.
It hasn't hit me yet. I think once it registers, might be some tears. I don't know. Battle of the Builders is pretty much the biggest thing that encompasses all the categories in the car world. Everyone gets together, everyone loves cars, and all these builds accumulate to one place, SEMA.
From Portland, Tennessee, Jason Graham's stunning 1934 Ford pickup.
Technically, yes, this is a truck, but it is pure blown hot rod. It's just mind-blowing to think that, hey, I'm with all the people that I've looked up to so many years as other really great builders. The car owners, yeah, they allow us to be able to do what we do, but this is a builder award. It's not a car award.
And another wild ride from the 80s, Igor Polishchuk's 87 BMW 325 from Sacramento, California.
When I heard my name called off, I was just unbelievable. I jumped up. Battle of the Builders is the most prestigious competition that you can enter. With this build, we wanted to go low-key in a way, real retro, a lot of old school 80s, 90s vibes, but not go flashy. I'm more than astounded to be in this competition, and I hope I get the trophy. I'm like, let's get it, let's get it.
From Mooresville, North Carolina, our very first Battle of the Builders champion, Kyle Tucker.
It's a 1969 Camaro with hundreds of body modifications, very subtle. And the engine's made up of an LS2 with a hair-up supercharger on it. Also has a Bowler 6-speed manual transmission, and of course all the Detroit speed suspension parts underneath. With the 4 segments now, it makes sense. We've got to get new people into the industry. You've got to give a chance for the young guns to be able to come in here, show their ideas, show their car styles. That's what built the industry, and we have to keep it going.
Next, from Creswell, Oregon, Kyle Kuhnhausen and his throwback 1972 Datsun 240Z.
I never knew that so many people would appreciate all the attention to detail I paid for 5 years of on and off working on the car, 5,800 labor hours.
Kyle won the Regional Young Guns program at the Good Guys 32nd West Coast Nationals in Pleasanton, California, which provided an all-expenses paid trip to Las Vegas and the SEMA show. Now he's made it to the top 12.
The new judging criteria is the most advantageous thing to a young gun like me because they just swapped up the competition and made it so that no matter what, a young gun's in the top 4. Are you kidding me? I'm grateful to just be here. Of course I want to win.
Hailing from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Eddie Pettis with his 1932 Willys aircraft refueling truck.
This year, the truck category was phenomenal. We were very blessed that we were even able to make it. We have some of the toughest competition I've ever seen. Battle of the Builders is really neat because it became one of the biggest competitions throughout the year. It allows us to focus on what the shop and the team can do.
Now it's Dylan Goacher's high-powered 1968 Chevy Nova from Wathena, Kansas.
Being included in the Battle of the Builders is like, it's a dream come true. It's something in a builder's eyes, you know, it's like being in the Super Bowl. As far as being a builder, it puts you into the next level. You know, can't go anywhere else and get this kind of exposure. It's been such an honor and such an experience to be able to make it this far. I hope that I can walk off the stage with a trophy.
Finally, from Abbotsford, British Columbia, Rod Nielsen and his eye-catching 1972 Mazda R100.
It's kind of in disguise because it's this cute little thing, but it's just making ridiculous horsepower to weight ratio. Right now, it's somewhere 730, 760 if I rev it out. We're ecstatic that we're here. As far as we're concerned, we've already won. I'm a firm believer that it shouldn't be money. It should be all about just the build and the passion that's involved. It's just cool to see a guy that's only got $5,000 in his car, it's his pride, his joy, than a guy that's got a $500,000 Lamborghini. It's just nice that anybody has a chance.
Now, it's up to our top 12 contenders to pick the best rides from each category.
Each of our 12 finalists will pull their ride up on stage and tell the other builders why their project deserves their vote.
Once all the vehicles have been judged, we move on to the blind ballot. The only criteria, no builder can vote for themselves.
Then, our accounting team from Moss Adams will tabulate the results by category.
But they won't know who's been selected until we make the announcement at the start of the SEMA cruise.
Out of the 4, we'll find out who is our overall Battle of the Builders winner over at the Ignited stage.
As fans and car enthusiasts continue to pour into SEMA, our first finalist from the official top 12 is ready to roll onto the stage and present his ride to the other builders. Gentlemen, allow me to introduce Eddie Pettis and his 32 Willys.
My father had been working on this thing, kind of dreaming up this idea for a number of years. We came up with this idea to make an airplane refueling tanker truck. We wanted to follow the theme of a semi. We wanted to follow the theme of a hot rod, and we wanted airplane themed. We started with the 1932 Willys 4-door sedan. We removed the rear door. We chopped the top 2 inches. We built a rear 5th wheel hitch pulling a trailer. Inside the car, we located some B-25 bomber seats. They are originals. The steering wheel is yoke out of an airplane. In the semi world, of course, it needs to be a diesel. So we ran a 4-cylinder turbo diesel, a Nissan/Datsun diesel, and turbocharge it. The wheels are 1936 Dodge high clearance rims. They're really, really rare.
Nicely done.
Thank you very much.
Up next, we have Jeremiah Prophet and his 93 Toyota.
It exists because of the Cummins R2.8 project. We were part of the beta test program for that engine, and so we just wanted to come up with something really cool to put the engine in and help them test it out. We've got some Zargaze boxes on the roof to hold some of our expedition gear. We use PPG paint on the exterior. That's a rigid A-series light, and it's just a real versatile little product. Under the hood is a Cummins R2.8 turbo diesel. Made it to an H55F 5-speed, which is a Toyota 5-speed. Yeah, the idea again was to just make it OEM looking, see if we can get people fooled, right? To think that this engine belonged in the car.
Nice build.
Hey, thank you, appreciate it.
Next up, we have Igor Polishchuk and his 87 325.
Some of the rare parts are these pieces here on the fender. They're all Kamei's from the late 80s, early 90s. The wheels were brand new with rotiform. All of the bumpers are Euro bumpers, along with the MTech 1 body kit, and that's same thing, early 90s, late 80s. That's Recaro seats with the MTech cloth. The steering wheel is an old wooden steering wheel. We got the wooden louvers in the back on the inside. We went with a 3.2 liter out of a newer M3 with the supercharger. It's a Roadtrack supercharger from Active Auto Works, stage 2.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
We have Jason Graham and his 34 Ford pickup.
Luckily on this build, I got full reign to do whatever I wanted to do on it. I want them to see that a little guy from Tennessee can build to the level of just anybody else. The engine is a little stroke 347, small block Ford. It's got Inglis stack injection. I take a lot of pride on doing a lot of stuff, just sitting with a welder and a grinder and just doing it by hand. Got a 37 Chevrolet Dash. We cut it up, changed it quite a bit. And probably the most unique thing about this truck is the rear suspension and the fact that the rear end is exposed inside the bed. It's all hung off of quarter elliptic springs that are fully adjustable for ride height and leveling, and you can set the tension to ride a little softer or firmer that way. My goal is to be one of the final 4 up on stage.
We're nearing the final stage of the competition, but the battle is far from over.
Who will be selected as the SEMA Battle of the Builders winners?
Find out when we come back. Welcome back to SEMA Battle of the Builders.
Right now, the decorated dozen are in the process of ranking all of the vehicles 1 to 12.
We're about halfway through the judging process, with the builders putting every detail of these rolling works of art under the microscope.
Gents, please meet Kyle Kuhnhausen.
The premise of this car is the owner wanted something that he could drive 2 hours to Portland International Raceway from our front door, race, and drive home. No frills, no trailer. So I thought, to get some respect for an import car, I need to check all these boxes. We need to have nice paint. The paint is an Axalta Ford Stealth Gray. We need to have good, crisp gaps. I've drilled and staked every gap, and I've personally hand-filed and welded all these gaps to try to create a Datsun body that actually fits. I didn't have the budget to go out and buy this key part, this key part, this key part. I could afford the raw materials, and I could donate my time, and we could create something truly special with a lot of heart in it. We're running 17-inch centered, 18-inch double-stepped lip CCW LM20 wheels. It's running a full billet Arizona Z-Car track pack. So I did my absolute best job to fully incorporate this motor in the chassis, but also make it completely serviceable. The engine and trans can come out of this car, top or bottom.
Up next, we have Dale Besh and his 36 Ford Roadster.
What we started with was a really roached out 36 Ford body. You can't go buy another one, so you build what you got. We really wanted to achieve a old school appeal with this thing. We wanted something that looked like a hot rod from the 60s. So when we did the motor in here, we went with a 57 Chrysler Imperial. It is a 392 Hemi cubic inch. It's got an ISKI cam in it. It has a Hillborn fuel injection on it. We did a lot of the Moon equipment on this thing because the fact that that's era fits the car. We found a new old set of Mickey Thompson valve covers, machined that piece and put it in there, and I think that's the only machined piece on this car. I decided not to run any dash panel in the car, and so this is an old 50s Nash piece in the center. The center part of the steering wheel is a squigs. I started with that, and then we made the clamps go on it so it looked like an old boat steering wheel. You guys can see in the trunk we have a fuel tank. It's a 5-gallon tank, and it goes down into a 22-gallon tank. Nice job. Thanks, Jim.
Next up, we have Muzzy Yousefi with the 2004 Nissan 350Z.
It's been right-hand drive converted. It's the only one in the States. It has a Veilside 13-piece wide body kit on it, which is a very old, rare JDM kit. The paint is all PPG. The engine, V335DE, a lot of swaps are done on these cars because they're voted one of the ugliest engines out there, even though they're voted one of the best Japanese motors. So we said, we're gonna make the prettiest, ugliest engine. The wheels are actually really old school J-line wheels. I imported all the interior JDM pieces, so it's an actual full conversion. The wheel is a Vertex Leopard, which is also a rare JDM piece. So we have a lot of elements of old school JDM, building it with new school JDM style, and then a lot of old hot rod stuff and new hot rod stuff. I build it my way. There's different ways of building things, and I'm just happy that I got the recognition that, you know, there's more than one way to build a car.
All right, guys, up next we have Dylan Goacher and his 68 Chevy Nova.
We went with a 632. It's twin turbo. It has a 25.3 chassis in it. Fuel tech is laid into the dash, so that's an aluminum dash. It's got an I-Did steering column, one of their new ProLite series. And then the trunk. This is the 17-gallon street driving tank. This will be removable as well. You just pull the bolts out of it, the Jiffy Tights, it comes right out. Got Weld V-Series wheels on it. The outside of the car, I wanted it to look like it was an original muscle car and someone literally dropped it off at a custom shop and had a chassis car made into it.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Beautiful job.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Mr. Kyle Tucker and his 69 Camaro.
Wanted to show you a little bit about this one, a 69 Camaro we call Tux. Looks a lot like a 69 Camaro stock, but I mean, it's got Ford parts, Pontiac parts, BMW parts, Mercedes, Oldsmobile, Recaro seats that we took all the way apart, perforated leather. It's a Porsche patterned gauge cluster that Classic Instruments did for us. Same with the grab handles, came out of a Porsche Cayenne. Under the hood is a supercharged LS2. It's a Harrop supercharger that's been fully machined and polished and then sanded.
It's beautiful.
It wasn't a quick build. You know how it is to build something and touch and tweak every single part, and it was actually 9 man-years in the car.
Up next, we have Phil and Jeremy Gerber with their 1970 Camaro.
I think when you look at the car, you'll see that there's very little American muscle car influence in it. The majority of it comes from really the import scene. Probably the most notable modification to the car is the ice cube tray look that's coming through the hood. It's an LS7 that has a Kinsler billet low-profile stack injection, Texas Speed LS7 in it. The motor makes about 680 horse. The influence is drawn from some of the low-production exotic cars with all the anodized finishes. The car's just been radically modified. All the panels have been worked so they transition from one to the other. Interior on the car, probably one of the highlights. We wanted to give it that fit, finish, and feel of a brand new OEM exotic car. So upholstery work is all done by Avant-Garde out of Palm City, Florida. Dakota Digital loaded it with their custom one-off gauges. Paint on the car, all BASF. You know, the goal was just make something that just plain looked bitchin'.
Next up, we've got Rod Nielsen and his 72 Mazda.
This car was built to look pretty good for a track day car that I intend to beat the hell of. This is the holy grail of Mazda cars, early ones. It's an R100. People thought these were disposable. Now they're extremely valuable. They're used primarily for drag cars when people do modify and fix them up. SEMA gives people a platform to seeing how far the limits can be pushed and make sure that you don't just get yourself into a bubble and stay there and actually try to build something different than everybody else. Force Fed Performance, they located us a 3-rotor in Japan. They built it, tuned it, at 18 pounds of boost, low boost setting, because it's still breaking in. It's making over 700 at the rear wheels. Everything about the car is to be worked on. Nothing is hidden. Every component is exposed. Every wire, everything is there accessible so you can work on it. We went with a T56 Magnum transmission. They're just like the bread and butter, super durable, 6-speed. Has 12-inch Wilwood brakes all the way around with 6-piston billet calipers. There's House of Colors, Sherwin-Williams paint. All the gold you see is Cerakote ceramic.
Great job.
Thank you very much.
Next, we have Zach Lagerin and his 1988 BMW M3.
The overall goal of this build was to basically make a factory-looking resto mod. On the body, we did some European touches, so it's got an Evo 3 carbon rear wing. It's got Evo 3 grills at the front and an Evo 3 front splitter. All of those parts were exclusive to the Evo 3, which is a Euro-only model that they made 600 of. And then we did E46 brakes in the rear. And up front, we did 362 millimeter AP racing brakes that necessitated an 18-inch wheel, which we got from our friends at Forgeline. They called it the Euroweave. And then the big party piece of this is the motor swap. It's an S55 out of a 2015 BMW M3, first known swap of its kind, and we paired that with the F80 2015 M3 6-speed manual transmission. It feels pretty incredible to come out first time here at SEMA. All the other builds are really excellent, so to be considered among some of the best is an honor.
The builders now have the unenviable job of judging these 12 incredible rides. This will not be an easy process.
When we come back, we'll announce our category winners.
Then we'll make our way to the 5th annual SEMA Ignited event to announce our overall winner. It's all coming up when SEMA Battle the Builders returns. Welcome back to SEMA Battle the Builders. We're just about to get the SEMA cruise underway and head to SEMA Ignited. But before we get those engines started, the builders have made their official final selection.
The selection's been tabulated by our Moss Adams representative, so let's get him out here with the envelopes. Thank you very much.
All right.
Well, it comes down to this.
All right, so the winner in the Young Guns division is Kyle Kuhnhausen in his 1972 240Z.
The winner in the Sport Compact division is Rod Nielsen in his 1972 Mazda R100. And for a third category, the trucks and off-road category, we have 1932 Willis. It's Eddie Pettis with his Willys aircraft refueling truck and trailer.
The winner in the hot rod division is Kyle Tucker in his 1969 Chevy Camaro. Thank you to all the builders who entered SEMA Battle of the Builders.
We'll see you over at SEMA Ignited where we will announce the grand winner. This is the annual SEMA Cruise, the most spectacular car show on wheels.
It's an open event, giving the public a chance to see all the incredible showcase vehicles of SEMA take to the road.
The cruise ends at SEMA Ignited, the official SEMA show after party, where fans and vendors get a chance to rub elbows with the builders and icons.
It's an event like no other, punctuated by some of the most beautiful rides on the planet. And this is where Battle of the Builders will announce the grand champion.
Oh my God, we made top 4. I've been top 12, but I haven't taken a top of my class, so I'm super excited.
I'm kind of numb, actually. It's just crazy. I was 40, I was like, this is rad. 12, you gotta be kidding me. Top 4, never thought it would happen.
This has changed a lot. I was lucky enough to win the inaugural Battle of the Builders. Each year the competition steps up, and the quality of builds, it's the best I've ever seen.
I'm in such a stacked field. I'm so hopeful, but at the same time, I have so much respect for all these people around me that it's like, I'd be happy if they won, but man, did I put everything I had and more into this car. Anything could happen.
This is the main event for the 5th annual SEMA Battle of the Builders, right here at SEMA Ignited, where the action is in full effect. And now it all comes down to this.
Are you guys ready to see the winner of Battle of the Builders or what? It has been an insane year.
But it gets bigger and better, and each and every one of these cars represents what's possible in automotive design, and it's just amazing.
So let's meet the winner of each of our 4 categories that we've announced a while ago, but let's bring them up on stage, shall we?
So the winner from the Young Guns category is Kyle Kuhnhausen and his 1972 240Z.
The winner of the Sport Compact division was Rod Nielsen and his 1972 Mazda R100. The winner of the Trucks and Off-Road division was Eddie Pettis in a 1932 Willys aircraft refueling truck. The longest competitor ever.
And the winner from the Hot Rod division is Kyle Tucker in his 1969 Chevy Camaro.
All amazing machines, really representing what this industry is all about. This is the cream of the crop right here, but there has to be one winner.
Are you guys ready to find out who wins? All right, so we're gonna have our representative from Moss Adams with the final envelope. Do we get our drum roll?
The winner of the 5th annual SEMA Battle of the Builders is
Kyle Tucker in his 1969 Chevy Camaro.
Congratulations. Congrats. Awesome.
Congratulations, Kyle. Now, you're the only repeat winner in the history of Battle of the Builders. You won the first Battle of the Builders 5 years ago, so how has the competition changed in those 5 years?
Like AJ said, bigger and better. People debut cars now for this at Battle of the Builders, so the competition is very, very big, and can't believe we did it. It's awesome.
Yeah, congratulations. Really an absolutely incredible build.
I can't believe it. We won SEMA Battle of the Builders. 2 now. It's unbelievable. You never know how it was going to work out. They were all class builds. The Young Gun, he was stellar. That was a great build. So to be able to come out on top for the hot rod category was a huge win for me. And then to be able to come out on top for the other guys, it's still sinking in. We're going to come back. We're going to try and do it again, and we'll bring our best. You got to bring your best.
I want to thank all of the builders for making this one incredible competition.
And we'll see you all right here next year at SEMA Battle of the Builders. Kyle Tucker wins again with his 1969 Camaro Tux, our only 2-time winner so far. And another Kyle to watch is Kyle Kuhnhausen, winning the first ever Young Guns division. I would keep an eye on young Kyle if I were you. All right, that's it for now. I'll see you guys here tomorrow night for another episode of Battle of the Builders. And for more information, check out SEMABOTB.com. See you guys tomorrow.